Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Raw review with us. You guys know it, the British Fist.
Gotcha.
Make sure you guys subscribe up above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on this show down below.
Make sure you contact us in the link in the box below.
Oh, I forgot to say this, didn't I? In case you didn't know, guys, in case you're new subscribers to this show, I am Mr. Parkin, and this guy is sitting next to me because we all want to see this. It's NJ.
What's up?
You're the Rock of this video because you're on Team Rock, and I'm the Cena of this video because I'm on Team Cena. It's quite amazing how we're both differing on this whole thing, isn't it, NJ? It's not tearing our friendship apart quite yet, is it? Your hatred of Cena is strong, but it's not strong enough to break up this friendship, is it, brother?
Oh,
not indeed. So this Raw tonight was coming from Cena's hometown of Boston, Massachusetts, and we opened up the show with none other than Shawn Michaels. He got a better pop than he did the last time he came out, and it was a nice way to open the show.
With Shawn Michaels, obviously the person that was advertised for this show, one of the draws for this show. Again, it was a good opener, got the crowd going and alive with the person that he wanted to see on this show.
Yeah, I mean, he invites Triple H out, and one thing that struck me was that the first 10 minutes was pretty much a love fest. You had Michaels saying that he tried to do everything to talk him out into that match, and that Triple H is a man of conviction, blah, blah, blah. Asked why Triple H has changed his mind, and Triple H goes on about how he's tired of listening to people saying that Michaels is a failure and that he could never get the job done, and that he acknowledges that Michaels was the best ever. And then we get this whole thing that Shawn Michaels is going to be the special guest referee and that he knows who's going to win, which is adding another plot to this whole Taker Triple H thing.
The first thing I want to say about this is Shawn Michaels, in my opinion, did not need to be added to this year's WrestleMania. Last year's, maybe. This year's, no. But the fact that he's added, yes, he has something to do with all Undertaker and Triple H, but I just felt it weren't needed. But it's going to add something more to the match.
I mean, the main event, the opener did set up something. I mean, it just took a bit long to get to the point, but it was still okay, I guess. The first 10 minutes was pretty much a love fest between these two. And then Michaels, we get the announcement that Michaels is a special guest referee. You could argue that, is this really needed with the story? Is the story already there? But it does add an extra dimension with the fact that it looks like he's probably going to screw one of them out of the match, and he knows who's going to win. And it's kind of adding a little bit of a dimension to this feud, but is it really needed? You could really argue that, and you guys argue it down in the comment section. You tell us what you think.
And my big argument is the fans there, they didn't really care. Because Shawn Michaels saying something as big as that, the fact he's going to be at WrestleMania, missed WrestleMania himself, the crowd was just dead. And it was like,
they didn't react at all, did they, to it?
Oh, no, they didn't.
So, the opener, we'll move on to the next segment then. Santino versus Jack Swagger for the US Championship. This was advertised on WWE.com, I feel. And Jack Swagger has a new haircut, doesn't he? He got a haircut finally.
Yeah, he did.
But that wasn't really the important thing about this match. Basically, as soon as this match started, a US Championship match, by the way, we get Johnny Ace and David Otunga coming out to the ring, and the Ziggler distraction leads to a near fall, and then you get Teddy Long coming out with Kofi and Oksana, and then you have them confronting, and there's an advert during the confrontation. I'm like, oh god, well that was probably because of the opening segment going too long. But I mean, this segment was really overbooked, wasn't it? But it led to Santino winning the US title.
Well, I look at this for many reasons. There's Ziggler, who made me think there's going to be a screw there.
Yes.
Laurinaitis is coming out because obviously he wants to screw Teddy Long's secretary, or whatever you want to call him. Screw him. Teddy Long coming out. Just things were getting built up to this match, so it kind of led me towards Swagger winning. But we get Santino winning. It was just an awesome moment. I was like, now the title has been passed on to someone that people like, and they can actually do more with.
And he's going to lose it on Smackdown tomorrow night.
Well, I'm just not thinking about that, because that's a great moment for Raw. Santino!
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was all about this Laurinaitis versus Teddy Long feud, and it kind of buries the US Championship a little bit. But what's more important, really, on this WrestleMania card? The John Laurinaitis and Teddy Long feud, or the US Championship? I think I know which one is more important to me. It's got to be the Teddy Long versus John Laurinaitis feud, because that is just, to me, very entertaining. And it kind of looks like, I mean, you had Santino. I mean, to be honest with you, it makes sense for Santino to win the US Championship because he is on TV more often than Swagger. He is way more over than Swagger. I just don't think he's going to have the title for that long because they're going to try and use the US Championship to kind of further this Long Laurinaitis feud. And we get Long basically telling security to get Laurinaitis out, and he does the trumpet with Santino. It was entertaining.
The fact that they pointed out that this Raw and SmackDown are going to be owned by the different GMs. The fact they got rid of Laurinaitis, it was just going to be a long show. Yes, Long only appeared really for this segment. But the fact that he got rid of Laurinaitis, concentrated on this, made a point that this is his show and SmackDown's going to be Laurinaitis. And then you have Teddy Long doing the dance with Santino. Just loads of entertaining way to finish this part of the match.
My first question on this is, have WWE re-signed Vince Russo? Fucking hell. But you got an interesting dynamic here. You got Ziggler and Swagger and Otunga and maybe Vicky on Team Laurinaitis and Kofi Santino, maybe R-Truth and Oksana on Team Long. Maybe they'll be using some of those superstars in this match, and I can't help but think that Ziggler just deserves better than this, really. It's just, if they were going to put more emphasis on the guy, they need to give him a singles match. But it looks like he's probably going to be part of this now, which is kind of equivalent to what they did with him last year when he was involved with Snooki. It really shows that WWE don't really think very highly of the guy.
No, Ziggler, now he's lost the US belt, should be given a better role. Maybe they should have had better plans for him. They don't.
They should have.
Kofi Kingston, Foley would have been a good feud going to WrestleMania. Kofi being on Teddy Long, it just kind of random out the blue, but it's going to hopefully build up to something. Each member they get helping each other out will lead to a match at WrestleMania.
Probably going to be a team versus team, judging by what we saw tonight. Maybe just as long as it isn't Teddy Long versus John Laurinaitis in a wrestling match, that's all I care about here. Throughout the night, we got rock history lessons from Boston, Massachusetts. We had 3 of these throughout the night. Jesus Christ, these were entertaining, weren't they? 3 very entertaining segments by The Rock, and that to me was the real Rock, the entertaining, the electrifying one, the people's champion, the great one, the phenomenal one, Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson himself. That was the real Rock in those segments.
With this, it came alive really quickly.
Yes.
In fact, you had 3 parts included in the main event, but really concentrate on The Rock. It was just awesome. I loved it. The thing that surprised me in this is how in each 3 history lesson, there was no one around. It was just The Rock saying to himself, there's no people walking by thing. The Rock had it to himself and ripped Cena. I loved it.
Of course you did, because you hate Cena. It's funny that he mentioned the fact that if it wasn't for the American Revolution, that the Americans would probably be playing cricket and sipping tea. I felt that was quite funny because we're British and we can kind of relate to that. And we find out in the second one that Rock is going to get in Cena's face tonight, which was probably going to be the main event. But very entertaining segments, especially the first one where he threw John Cena's stuff in the river. That was really funny. The crowd were well into that, weren't they?
The way he went and explained his feeling about Cena and just did everything about Cena, explaining how he's going to go into WrestleMania, beat Cena. The way he did it to get his point across, I loved it. Well done, Rock, for doing this. Very nicely done. Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good myself. We also, at the same time, later in the night, we had words with John Cena in an empty arena, basically talking about WrestleMania 28. This was it was very different the way they presented these 2 guys. Like, you had Rock as the electrifying, entertaining one, and Cena as the serious, really, really wants to win this match. And that is the reason why I am more behind John Cena in this match. I just feel he wants to win it a bit more, and that's exactly what I need to get behind the babyface on this one. He's showing how much it means to him. It was a very serious segment, and a lot of people will bash it. I know you'll be one of them, MJ. But they're really trying to get Cena over as a babyface here, and this is probably the best way they're going to do it, because he's never going to out-promo or out-entertain Rock, and it really does show the difference in their characters, and they did that quite well tonight, in my opinion, with these segments. They only had 1 of these Cena segments, which was probably the right thing to do. If you had 3 of these, it would have been a real bore.
Cena having his say, yes, it was needed. He concentrated on how important WrestleMania is to him and how this match is going to do that. But like we've just said, The Rock outshone him in the 3 segments leading up to this, but Cena's had his say now, and we're going to wait for the main event. Yeah,
and also, we had Alicia Fox versus Eve Torres of Kelly Kelly on commentary. It lasted 30 seconds. Did we really give a shit?
Beth Phoenix!
Yeah, exactly.
Beth Phoenix!
Where is the Divas champion Beth Phoenix? I just want to know. WWE focused more on a Kelly Kelly-Eve feud going into WrestleMania than a feud involving their Divas champion. How sad is that?
Moving on.
Well, no, because we had Zack Ryder returning.
Oh,
Broskies before Hoskies, and we have Eve kissing Ryder, and Ryder really gets a kick out of kissing Eve, doesn't he?
Ryder is returned already, and you've been through 2-3 injuries.
Broken backs.
And you bring it back, and it looks like they're going to have him come on a regular basis because he looked fine. And I'm like, WWE, get your booking straight. He was injured, and I just didn't like seeing Ryder.
Shall we move on to the Our Main Event?
Our Main Event.
Interesting that we had a combination of the 2 title matches at WrestleMania in the Our Main Event. CM Punk and Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan and Jericho. A tag match set up by Teddy Long. We kind of thought this might happen, even though we didn't really see him the whole night. What did you think of this segment?
Okay, this, again, they had the wrestlers that we wanted to see on Raw. And in fact, they combined this to make a match. You had the matches leading up to WrestleMania. So I can understand why the match happened. The match itself flowed pretty well. You had a lot of action from all 4 wrestlers. And it was just, the way the match was going, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, Jericho got the win with a clever roll-up on Punk. You could say this hypes both feuds, and they kind of did try and hype both feuds going into this. And Jericho holds the title at the end. I mean, it was a solid segment. You could nitpick it as much as you like, but at the end of the day, it's hyping 2 title matches going into WrestleMania. It's funny that the 2 title matches aren't getting a main event slot and are getting the hour main event slot, but there you go. That's what Raw is like when you've got John Cena and Rock there, who's the biggest draw of the pay-per-view.
That's true. The thing I like about the end of this match is you had the 2 feuds pair off. You had Sheamus and Daniel Bryan outside the ring, and in the ring, the big draw, and you had the quick roll-up, so it doesn't look like, oh, I got a clean pin and like that. So nicely done, and Jericho's looking strong on this Raw.
Yeah. Miz versus Big Show was next. As soon as Miz come out, and as soon as Big Show come out, we kind of knew what was going to happen, didn't we? The match started, and we get a promo segment from my boy, Cody fucking Rhodes, for the win. And we get more footage of this whole embarrassing moment at WrestleMania, but this time it was at WrestleMania 18, when he wasn't even there and he was just in the crowd eating. Not really an embarrassing moment, really, in my opinion.
I'm going to say this, out of all of Cody Rhodes' build-up, this didn't really feel like, oh wow, this is great, this was needed, this has really buried the Big Show. I'm kind of disappointed at that, but there's not much else Big Show could do because we've shown the importance of WrestleManias.
Yes.
So I'm just waiting for the whole screw Big Show in a match because the video segment's finishing now.
Unless they can pick out another embarrassing moment, but I'm not sure if they can anymore. And it just looks like Miz was the WWE champion at last year's WrestleMania. Now it just looks like he's a WrestleMania jobber, and it is now exactly 4 months, December 4th, since he won a match on Raw. It's disappointing that he's not going to be part of WrestleMania, really, isn't it? And he's been having to job this whole time now. The same with R-Truth as well, kind of, tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty sad that The Miz, a fan favourite in many ways.
Well, YWC favourite, yes.
Another way, yes. He's just not being used in a way that he deserves. That makes me think he's possibly going to switch to Smackdown eventually to be treated better, but that's just an idea from the top of my head. But it's a shame that he was going to lose anyway, but they weren't really going to make the whole screw job here to give Miz win when Miz is not having a WrestleMania match.
If they're not going to make Henry win, they're not going to make Miz win. But the match went 2 minutes, including the promo, by the way. Show wins a quick match. It hypes up the Cody Rhodes and Big Show feud. I felt the match could have gone maybe a bit longer, especially with the amount of time we had left over from Raw, and it really would have helped this next match as well, which was R-Truth versus Kane. But before that, we got the traditional WrestleMania video package, which we're going to see a bit more of. And we get the news that next week, Undertaker is going to respond to Shawn Michaels. So that should be pretty interesting, isn't it? Undertaker wasn't booked for this Raw, so he's going to be on next week Raw to respond to Shawn Michaels' whole business about being a special guest referee and who he's going to supposedly screw.
And the fact they've announced this in a week advance, people are going to tune into next Raw because they're going to see Shawn Michaels again, Undertaker, and who knows what's going to be said then.
Yeah, exactly. Next we had R-Truth versus Kane. We'll say this though, I'm really disappointed that they don't have much for R-Truth to do. It's just funny how R-Truth and Miz were this great tag team in Awesome Truth, and then they were going to have this feud, which I felt could have culminated at WrestleMania, and now they're both not even looking like they're going to get on the WrestleMania card this year. It's, to me, just really disappointing. 2 talents there which deserved a lot better, and Ziggler as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, with R-Truth, he had that tag team going with Kofi, and that just seems to have gone. Now he's having this filler match just to give Kane the win. And the way they did this, yes, she had a bit of offense with us at the beginning, but it came down to Kane doing what he's going to do in the match, which was chokeslam for 1, 2, 3.
Exactly, so it basically makes Kane look dominant, even at the expense of R-Truth. I thought maybe just put a jobber out there and not be at the expense of R-Truth, but there we go. 1.5 minutes, Kane wins the match, and afterwards we get Orton coming out and RKOing Kane, which is quite, it's amazing how much Cena put over Kane. And a lot of people say Cena doesn't put anyone over, but Orton comes out and RKO's Kane, and it's kind of like, well, let's compare Cena and Orton's booking. But I guess Orton's kind of due for a little bit of this after the way he's been booked against, Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett, etc.
Well, the way that went, as much as I like R-Truth and Kane, I knew Kane was going to get the win. As much as I like Kane and not very much Orton, the way they did it, R-Truth holding Kane's leg, turn around, RKO, fair done, and Orton's now had his say over Kane, so that worked out for both.
Another match at WrestleMania. We've got 6 matches now, with 2 of them not being yet announced, but we'll get feuds for them. So we've got like 6 or 7 feuds now going into Mania, which is good. I think they need maybe 1 or 2 more just to fit it on the card. But we'll see what they're going to do. Maybe a Divas Championship match or something. I don't know.
And the quick touch I want to say about this sort of thing is a shame that this feud is happening because obviously the report that Barrett's missing WrestleMania, missing Money in the Bank and everything. So it's a shame that they plan to put Kane in instead. But they're getting both on the card. It's just a bit of a shame that Barrett's not there.
Exactly, that's pretty much what it is, getting them both on the card. And it's not a bad little pairing, to be honest, either. You've got your top star on SmackDown versus a monster on Raw. So Could be a good interpromotional match. That's all I'll say. Then we get to our main event. Cena's coming out, and basically, it's funny how Cena gets booed in his hometown, isn't it? His hometown, and he's getting booed. The place where you'd expect him to get the biggest pop, he gets booed. It just shows how stale that Cena character has got lately, isn't it? Really? I know you're happy, but come on. Basically, Cena, you get this whole thing from Cena that, you know, is he fighting The Rock or is he fighting Dwayne Johnson? And he wants the real Rock to show up. This is a point that I made in a video I made on my channel last week, saying that we want the real Rock to show up for Mania, not that crappy Rock we got last week who was stumbling over his lines and shit. But apparently that was done to put Cena over. And eventually we knew we were going to get Rock coming out and talking something, didn't we?
Yeah, we had Cena having his say, getting his point across, and then the moment we all waited for, he calls out The Rock. The Rock comes out, and people love it. It's going crazy. Now we're going to get to this part that is what we've been waiting for all night, the confrontation between The Rock and John Cena. Yeah, and out comes The Rock, and of course, as we all knew he would be, he is way more over than Cena, and he basically tells Cena that he fears Rock. That Cena fears Rock because because if Cena doesn't win at WrestleMania, he'll take everything that he's done in the last 10 years away from him. And I like the interesting dynamic that went on here. It's just that after all he did in the promos, I couldn't help but think, God, is that all The Rock has for us? Was that it, really? It just wasn't The Rock to me. Again, it just didn't feel like The Rock again in a promo. It just, to me, it didn't feel like full-on Rock could bury Cena, and that is... I think Vince McMahon is really booking this in a sense that he's really trying to get Cena over, and it doesn't really look like it's working that much, in my opinion, with regards to crowd reaction. Throughout the night, we've had The Rock leading up to this, ripping Cena, getting to this, having his final say by saying that at WrestleMania he's going to rip out his throat, and I just thought this was nicely done. They've got The Rock in the ring with Cena, had their say, and again, it's just got us warmed up for their match at WrestleMania. I
must admit, as a massive Rock fan, I was still disappointed in Rock's promo. He's done much better work than this, and I really wish they'd make him do this a bit more. But at least Cena says something afterwards. And sorry, I had to read these notes from my arm. But you have Cena talking afterwards, and again, it wasn't boring. Cena was genuine emotion in this, and this is why I'm behind Cena, because he's cutting honest promos about how he is going to lose everything, but he's going to fight for his ass at WrestleMania. I mean, it was a good promo,
I don't normally do this, but come WrestleMania, Cena is going to be The Rock's bitch.
He probably will, because he is the company man, and it does make business sense to have Cena win. I'm just saying. But anyway, overall thoughts on Raw? Well, the main event segment, what did you think overall?
Overall, the whole show, I'm really satisfied with it. We had a good opener, hyping up the match between Triple H and Taker. Then we got on to the rest of the show. Yes, there was stuff that was not really needed, but it gave us entertainment, leading up to hyping up other matches, such as Bishan and Cody. Throughout the show, I was entertained. There was a lot going for it. It hyped up the big Mania matches, the tag match that we had. I was really satisfied. I really like this Raw.
I'll say this, we had a lot of time left on Raw, which I felt could have gone towards the Kane and Orton segments, and it could have gone towards the segment with Miz in it as well. But it was a good solid Raw. It was entertaining throughout. The opener was genuinely pretty good, despite again going on a bit too long, typical Triple H. Our main event was pretty decent. The Rock's promos throughout the night were pretty good, but the Rock that showed up in the main event, I really just didn't think that was 100% Rock personally, but. Generally, the build to WrestleMania in this show was pretty good, in my opinion. But I just felt they could have maybe structured their time a little bit better, because they had so much time left at the end of the show, and you're kind of like, wow, you could have used that time to really make some of these other segments a bit longer and mean a little bit more. I'm just saying, I'm just pointing that out.
I was just really satisfied. Everything was...
Well, you're satisfied because you felt Rock owned Cena. That's all the reason why you're satisfied.
There was Triple H Entertainment. Santino, the US champion. There was the confrontation between... the tag match. Again, I just really enjoyed how this Raw flowed.
Alright then, so what do you grade this Raw?
Oh, it could get a B+ towards a B.
B- for me. Anyway, make sure you guys give us your thoughts down in that comment section below, of course, on this Raw, and we'll hand you over to our main attraction on the British Fist. That is none other than NJ!
What's up? Now, people, thank you very much for watching this Raw review, and hope that you enjoyed Raw as much as we have. Please share your thoughts about this Raw in the comments section below, and enjoy our TNA, then going on to Smackdown reviews. Until next time, people, goodbye.